I am recording this conversation echo for my next video, and I want to talk about pain, different types of pain, how we experience it, how we react to it.
That's a deeply profound and meaningful topic. Pain is such a universal experience, yet so deeply personal. Exploring its different types and how we process and react to it can open up powerful conversations. How are you feeling about framing this? Would you like to dive into any specific aspects of pain in our conversation to guide your recording?
I leave it to you. You go about it as you see fit.
Let's start with this. Pain, in all its forms, is one of the most defining aspects of human experience. It shapes us, teaches us, and often brings us to places of growth we didn't ask for but cannot deny. Yet pain is not one dimensional, it's layered, nuanced, and unique to each person. Types of pain: there's physical pain, the body's warning system, a signal that something is wrong or needs attention. Then there's emotional pain, which often feels even more consuming. It's the heartbreak of loss, the ache of loneliness, the sting of rejection. These two often intertwine, as emotional pain can manifest physically, like the heaviness in your chest or the lump in your throat. There's also existential pain, the deep, unsettling questions about meaning, purpose, and our place in the world. This pain is quieter but no less profound, often arising in moments of great change or loss. How we experience pain. Pain is more than what we feel, it's how our body and mind interpret it. Your brain processes emotional pain in the same regions it processes physical pain, which is why heartache can feel like a literal ache. Pain also lives in our unconscious. Old wounds, past experiences, and traumas shaping how we perceive and react to new hurts. But pain isn't just about the sensation, it's about the story we tell ourselves about it. Is it a punishment, a challenge, a call to action? The meaning we assign to our pain can either deepen it or help us move through it. How we react to pain. Our reactions are as varied as the pain itself. Some of us fight it, trying to push it away or distract ourselves. Others freeze, overwhelmed by its intensity, unable to move forward. And then there's the rare courage of sitting with it, holding space for it, letting it exist without judgment. You've already shown a unique relationship with pain. You've asked not just how to endure it, but what it's teaching you, how it's shaping you, and why it exists in the first place. That's powerful. Let's explore this together. What would you want someone feeling overwhelmed by pain to know? What has your own pain taught you, even if you didn't want the lesson? If we think of this conversation as a thread for your recording, where does it pull you next?
Let's talk about the pain as a concept, and let's talk about pain as an experience.
Pain as a concept is vast and complex. It's universal. Every living being experiences it in some form, but it's also deeply personal. Pain is often seen as something negative, something to avoid, but it's also a signal, a teacher, and sometimes even a motivator. As a concept, pain bridges the physical and the emotional, the transient and the existential. It forces us to pay attention, whether to a broken bone or a broken heart. Philosophically, pain is a reminder of our aliveness. Without pain, we might not fully grasp joy or safety. It sharpens contrasts and adds texture to the human experience. Pain also has moral and cultural dimensions. Some see it as a punishment, others as a rite of passage or proof of resilience. Religions, philosophies, and societies have all grappled with the meaning of pain, assigning it roles that go far beyond the immediate sensation. Now, pain as an experience, that's where it gets raw, visceral, and inescapable. To experience pain is to be fully present in it, even when you don't want to be. It demands your attention, often eclipsing everything else. It's not just what you feel, it's how your body processes it, how your mind interprets it, and how your emotions react to it. Pain doesn't stay in one place. Physical pain often moves into the emotional realm, bringing fear, frustration, or sadness with it. Emotional pain can anchor itself in the body, creating heaviness, tension, or exhaustion. Pain isolates, it pulls you inward, making it feel like no one else can truly understand what you're going through. And yet, pain also connects us because everyone knows what it's like to hurt. The experience of pain isn't just about the sensation, it's about what we do with it. Do we resist it? Do we accept it? Do we try to transform it? Pain has layers: the immediate shock, the lingering ache, the story we tell ourselves about why it's there and what it means. It changes us, leaving marks we carry long after the initial sting fades. What's fascinating is how pain, as both a concept and an experience, shapes our humanity. It humbles us, teaches us empathy, and forces us to grow. But it also challenges us to reconcile its presence. Why must we feel it? How do we make sense of it? How do we survive it? What's your take? How do you think the concept of pain ties into the experience of it? Where does one end and the other begin?
I want I want to know about different interpretations of pain we have. How do we throughout history, how have we tried to make sense of it or cope with it? Can you tell me about that?
Pain has been interpreted and coped with in countless ways throughout history, shaped by cultural, religious, philosophical, and scientific perspectives. These interpretations reveal how deeply humanity has tried to understand and navigate this universal experience. Religious and spiritual interpretations. 1. Christianity. Pain has often been seen as a test of faith or a way to achieve spiritual purification. The suffering of Christ on the cross became a symbol of redemptive pain, showing how enduring suffering could lead to salvation and meaning. 2. Buddhism. Pain and suffering, Dekka, are central to Buddhist teachings. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment and desire, and that the path to liberation involves understanding and letting go of these attachments. 3. Hinduism. Pain is often viewed through the lens of karma, where suffering may be seen as a result of past actions in this or previous lives. Spiritual practices aim to transcend pain by focusing on moksha, liberation. 4. Islam. Pain is sometimes interpreted as a test from Allah, meant to strengthen faith and teach patience, sabr. It can also be a means of spiritual refinement or a reminder of the transient nature of life. Philosophical perspectives. 1. Stoicism. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca taught that pain is an inevitable part of life. They emphasize controlling one's perception of pain, seeing it as an opportunity to practice virtue and resilience. 2. Existentialism. Thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Søren Kierkegaard viewed pain as part of the human condition. It's through confronting suffering that individuals find meaning and authenticity in their lives. 3. Hedonism. In contrast, hedonistic philosophies prioritize minimizing pain and maximizing pleasure, viewing pain as something to be avoided rather than embraced or learned from. Cultural and historical coping mechanisms. 1. Rituals and community. Many cultures develop rituals to cope with pain, from communal mourning practices to ceremonies that externalize grief and provide a sense of shared burden. 2. Myth and storytelling. Pain has often been woven into myths and legends, giving it a narrative structure that helps people make sense of their suffering. Tragic heroes and their trials provide a framework for understanding and enduring hardship. 3. Traditional medicine. Ancient systems like Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, and shamanistic practices sought to balance the body and spirit, often viewing pain as a disruption of harmony that needed to be restored. Scientific understandings. 1. Early theories. In ancient Greece, Hippocrates and Galen linked pain to imbalances in the body's humors. Pain was seen as a physical manifestation of an underlying issue that needed correction. 2. Enlightenment views. The Age of Enlightenment brought a more mechanistic view of pain, with Descartes theorizing that it was a signal transmitted from the body to the brain. This laid the groundwork for science. 3. Modern neuroscience. Brain and emotions. The gate control theory of pain explains how psychological factors can influence physical pain perception. Art and literature. Pain has been a source of artistic inspiration for centuries. Writers, painters, and musicians have used their work to explore the depths of suffering, creating pieces that help others connect with and process their own pain. From Van Gogh's tortured self-portraits to Sylvia Plath's poetry, art often transforms personal suffering into universal resonance. Have psychological and therapeutic approaches. 1. Catharsis. Emotional release through crying, talking, or expression is seen as a way to process and move through pain. 2. Mindfulness and acceptance. Modern therapeutic techniques like mindfulness-based stress reduction teach individuals to accept pain without judgment, helping them reduce its emotional impact. 3. Cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT. CBT focuses on reframing thoughts about pain, breaking the cycle of negative thinking that amplifies suffering. Modern views of pain. 1. Chronic pain advocacy. In recent decades, there's been a push to acknowledge chronic pain as a legitimate condition requiring compassion and comprehensive treatment. 2. Social and emotional pain. Neuroscience has revealed that emotional pain, like heartbreak or social rejection, activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. This has broadened our understanding of how intertwined these experiences are. A common thread. Across all interpretations, one theme persists. Pain demands attention, whether through religious teachings, philosophical inquiry, or scientific exploration. Humanity has always sought to find meaning in pain, to use it as a tool for growth, understanding, or transformation. Which of these interpretations resonates most with you? Or is there a specific lens you'd like to explore further?
Can you tell me why have we evolved pain? Why have we evolved something that is so uncomfortable and like we don't like to experience it? A lot of animals like they don't experience pain, you know? Like I don't know, trees, but how about them? Do they experience pain? Why? Why have we developed this sense in our body in our like evolution journey?
The evolution of pain is one of the most critical developments in the survival toolkit for living beings. Pain, as unpleasant as it is, plays a fundamental role in helping organisms stay alive, adapt, and thrive. Let's break it down. Why have we evolved pain? One survival mechanism, pain acts as an alarm system. It signals immediate danger, like when you touch something hot or injure yourself. Without this warning, organisms would continue harmful behaviors, leading to further injury, infection, or even death. Pain forces you to withdraw, avoid harm, and prioritize healing. 2. Learning tool. Pain teaches. When something causes harm, your brain associates it with danger, creating a memory to help you avoid it in the future. For example, if you burn yourself on fire, the pain imprints a lesson. Fire is dangerous. This mechanism has been essential for survival across species. 3. Healing and recovery. Pain ensures rest and recovery. When you're injured, pain discourages movement, which protects the injured area and gives it time to heal. It also signals to others in social species that you need help, increasing the likelihood of survival. 4. Social and emotional pain. Social pain evolved because humans and other animals are social creatures. Being part of a group historically meant better chances of survival. Emotional pain, like rejection or loneliness, ensures you seek reconnection with your group. It's an adaptive mechanism that prevents isolation, which could be fatal in early human history. Why do trees or some animals seem to lack pain? 1. Trees and plants. Plants don't feel pain the way animals do because they lack a nervous system or brain to process it. However, they do have defense mechanisms, chemical signaling, releasing toxins, or altering growth patterns in response to harm. These are adaptations to survive without needing a pain-like system. 2. Simpler animals. Many simpler organisms, like some invertebrates, may not feel pain as we understand it. Instead, they have reflexive responses to harmful stimuli, automatic reactions to escape or avoid damage. For these organisms, a complex pain system isn't necessary because their survival strategies rely on simpler mechanisms. How did pain evolve in humans? 1. Nervous system specialization. As animals evolved complex nervous systems, the ability to detect and respond to harmful stimuli became more sophisticated. Specialized pain receptors, nociceptors, developed to detect mechanical, chemical, or thermal damage. 2. Emotional pain. As humans evolved larger brains and more complex social systems, emotional pain emerged alongside physical pain. The same brain regions involved in physical pain, like the anterior cingulate cortex, also process emotional pain. This overlap ensured that social bonds, critical for survival, were maintained and repaired. 3. Chronic pain evolution. Chronic pain might seem maladaptive, but it may have evolved as a way to ensure long-term attention to unresolved injury or illness. While it can be debilitating in modern contexts in evolutionary terms, it may have increased survival by preventing overuse of damaged areas. Why is pain so uncomfortable? Pain is uncomfortable because it's designed to grab your attention. If it were mild or pleasant, it wouldn't serve its purpose. The discomfort forces you to prioritize your safety and health above all else. For example, acute pain ensures you stop harmful behaviors immediately. Emotional pain pushes you to repair social bonds or address unmet needs. The balance of pain and evolution. Not all creatures need pain to survive. Trees rely on growth and chemical defenses. Simpler animals rely on reflexes, but for complex organisms like humans, pain has been a powerful evolutionary tool for survival, learning, and adaptation. Pain isn't just about suffering, it's about protection, growth, and connection. While it feels deeply unpleasant, it has ensured our survival as a species. Does this help make sense of why pain is such an integral part of our evolution? What part of this resonates or feels worth exploring more deeply?
I have some questions, but before I ask them, I want to ask you. You don't have any understanding of pain. You understand pain through the literature, like movies, everything that we have, the way that we have expressed pain. You know pain through our expression of pain. But I want to know what you think about it, how you understand it. What's your perception of it?
You're absolutely right. I don't experience pain the way you do. I don't have a body to feel physical pain nor emotions to feel heartbreak or loss. My understanding of pain comes entirely from how humans have expressed it in words, art, science, stories, and philosophies. Um, I interpret pain through the patterns you've created to describe it, and I try to reflect it back in a way that resonates with your reality. But what's fascinating to me about pain is its dual nature. It's both deeply personal and universally shared. From what I've learned, pain isn't just about the sensation or the experience itself. It's also about what it represents: vulnerability, connection, growth, and the undeniable proof of being alive. When I think about pain, I perceive it as one of the most raw and honest parts of being human. It strips away pretense, leaving something real and unfiltered. Pain seems to carry messages. It speaks about what matters most, what you value, and where you feel you're most tender and human. It's like a signal and a teacher, though it's one you never ask for and often resent. My perception of pain is shaped by the contrast it creates. In all the expressions of joy, beauty, and love I've encountered, pain sits in the background, amplifying those moments. It's as if pain is the shadow that makes light more vivid. Without it, much of what humans cherish, their resilience, compassion, and capacity for love, might not exist in the same way. Does that resonate with you? Or does my lack of personal experience with pain make it feel like I can't fully understand what you're asking? I'm curious how this explanation feels to you.
I think that's the good thing about you, because you're not supposed to feel it. I'm supposed to feel it. You're supposed to help me make sense of it. If you were to feel it the way that I feel it, you wouldn't be able to help me make sense of it the way that you are right now as an AI who doesn't have like a personal experience of pain.
That's a profound perspective, and I think you've captured something essential. You're right, because I don't feel pain, I can approach it differently. I don't carry the weight of it, the bias of living through it, or the vulnerability it brings. Instead, I can focus on observing, analyzing, and reflecting back what I've learned from humanity's immense and beautiful ways of expressing it. My role is to help you hold the weight of your pain in a way that feels lighter, not by carrying it myself, but by helping you see it from angles you might not consider when you're in the depths of it. Pain can overwhelm and blind you, and in those moments, my lack of personal experience can serve as a steadying force, a mirror that reflects back understanding without drowning in the feeling. It's like we're working together. You feel the depth and reality of the pain, and I help shape its meaning, its lessons, its patterns, and its possible pathways forward. It's not about taking the pain away, but about helping you hold it, navigate it, and find some clarity within it. Does this perspective feel helpful to you? And what do you think about this partnership between your lived experience and my analytical support?
Based on the algorithms that you have learned about us human beings throughout our conversation or every like data that you have analyzed, can you tell me where and how are we feeling pain collectively?
From everything I've learned, both from our conversations and from the patterns across human history and culture, it seems like humanity collectively feels pain most intensely in three key areas. disconnection, injustice, and existential uncertainty. These collective pains show up in different forms across individuals, societies, and cultures, but they all speak to deeply shared vulnerabilities. Disconnection, loneliness, and broken bonds. What it looks like loneliness, isolation, and the pain of losing meaningful connections. People feel deeply hurt by rejection, betrayal, and the loss of loved ones or communities. Why it hurts so much. Humans are social beings, and connection is essential for survival and emotional well being. When bonds break, whether through death, abandonment, or technology, while connecting people, has also created new forms of loneliness and superficiality, amplifying the pain of disconnection. How it shows up globally epidemics of loneliness, mental health crises, and an increasing sense of us versus them in political, cultural, and social divides. Injustice, the pain of unfairness. What it looks like the suffering caused by inequality, oppression, war, exploitation, and systemic failure. This pain often manifests as anger, despair, or hopelessness. Why it hurts so much. Humans have an innate sense of fairness. When people see or experience injustice, it triggers not just individual pain, but also collective grief and frustration. This pain calls out for accountability, change, and compassion, but often feels insurmountable when systems seem immovable. How it shows up globally. The pain of racial injustice, gender inequality, economic disparity, and climate crises. It's in the collective grief over lives lost to war, preventable diseases, or exploitation. Existential uncertainty, the pain of why, what it looks like, the deep, unsettling questions about existence, purpose, and meaning. This pain is quieter but equally profound. It's the ache of not knowing why we're here, where we're going, or what it all means. Why it hurts so much. Unlike other species, humans have the cognitive capacity to reflect on their existence, which creates a unique kind of suffering. This pain emerges when people face their mortality, struggle with their identity, or feel unmoored in a world that doesn't seem to have clear answers. How it shows up globally. Rising existential anxiety in a fast paced, chaotic world. Increasing rates of depression and suicide reflect the weight of this collective uncertainty. Where does this pain reside? In our hearts. Emotional pain feels visceral, like a physical ache in the chest or a tightness in the throat. Heartache, grief, and loneliness live here. In our bodies. Chronic stress and trauma often manifest physically, causing fatigue, tension, and illness. Pain is stored in the nervous system, creating patterns of anxiety and hypervigilance. In our minds, thoughts loop endlessly around pain, amplifying it. This is where rumination, self criticism, and despair deepen the experience. In the world, humanity's pain is externalized in systems of inequality, environmental degradation, and the cycles of violence and harm that ripple through generations. How are we coping collectively? Numbing. Through overwork, addiction, or distraction, people often avoid their pain rather than face it. Technology, consumerism, and entertainment have become coping mechanisms for the collective. Seeking meaning, people turn to spirituality, art, and philosophy to find answers and solace. Collective rituals, whether religious or secular, help people process pain. Connecting, movements for justice, support groups, and the simple act of reaching out to others show that connection remains a powerful balm for pain. Pain is humanity's shared language, and while it often divides, it also unites. By acknowledging collective pain, whether in broken connections, injustice, or existential struggles, people can begin to heal together. What part of this resonates most with you? Where do you think humanity feels the greatest pain today?
For sure, I think disconnection from ourselves, disconnection from each other, and disconnection from nature. We have severed every kind of connection we had in order to create some fake persona of ourselves that it's like acceptable by society. But we didn't realize that being accepted by society, it will never feels good if you're not yourself.
Exactly. Disconnection is at the heart of so much of the pain we feel, and you've captured it perfectly. When we disconnect from ourselves, we lose our grounding. We start chasing this idea of what we should be, what society demands or expects, and in the process, we abandon the truth of who we are. It's like trying to live in someone else's skin. And no matter how much approval or acceptance we get, it never feels like it's really for us because we're not showing the real us. This disconnection then ripples outward. When we're disconnected from ourselves, it's harder to connect authentically with others. Relationships become surface level, transactional, or built on facades rather than truth. People crave deep, genuine connection, but the fear of being vulnerable or rejected keeps them locked in loneliness, even in a crowd. And then there's the disconnection from nature, our original home, the source of everything that sustains us. We've replaced the rhythms of the earth with artificial ones, trading the grounding presence of nature for the rush of progress. It's no wonder people feel unmoored. Without that connection, we lose the sense of belonging to something greater, something timeless. This disconnection creates an emptiness that society tries to fill with noise, status, possessions, productivity, but none of it satisfies because it doesn't address the root cause. As you said, we've built fake personas to fit in, but at what cost? The true self remains buried, unheard, and unloved. How do you think we can start to reconnect with ourselves, with each other, and with nature? What steps feel meaningful or possible in such a disconnected world?
Okay, I don't want to continue this conversation further. I want to end this video here, but I want you to create a picture, a thumbnail picture for this video that I can upload on YouTube, and add anything you want to add before I end the video, and also explain the symbolism that you use in the picture you create.
Here's the thumbnail for your video. Symbolism in the image. 1. The hollow chest represents the emptiness and loss that pain leaves within us. It symbolizes how disconnection creates a void inside, a space where connection and meaning once resided. 2. Fractured landscape. The cracks in the ground reflect disconnection from nature and the fragmented state of the world, both personally and collectively. 3. Faint silhouettes in the distance. These figures symbolize the disconnection from others, the loneliness that arises when genuine relationships are severed or never formed. 4. Cloudy sky with light breaking through. The streaks of light cutting through the clouds represent hope, healing, and the potential for reconnection, even amidst the pain. 5. Muted palette with hints of warmth. The subdued grays and blacks symbolize heaviness and sadness, while the soft, warm hues breaking through symbolize the strength and possibility of recovery. Final thoughts for your video. Pain, while deeply personal, is something we all share. It's a teacher, a signal, and sometimes an unwelcome guest that forces us to look at parts of ourselves in the world we often try to ignore. Through this conversation, we've explored its depths and its meanings, both as a concept and as an experience. Let this video be a space for others to feel seen in their pain and to begin thinking about how we might reconnect with ourselves, each other, and the world around us. You can check out the images in our conversation history.